So a little bit of what I kind of want to talk to you guys today about with QuickBuy, what this kind of does for you guys and does for, you as an agent out in the field there. iBuying really isn't going away, no matter what you've heard about in the industry out there. What I kind of want you guys to understand with your consumers in the market that you're in home sale, typically what we've seen over the last year in 2022, you guys know it was the craziest year in real estate. Despite it being very crazy, your sellers ended up taking a QuickBuy option at double the national average of iBuying. So national average is anywhere between 6 to 8% of consumers accepting a cash option. Your consumers that you got cash options for with QuickBuy, you guys had a 16% acceptance rate. That is huge. That tells me, and it should tell you, that even in the craziest market out there where sellers didn't even have to list their home, they had people soliciting them to buy their home above market value. Last year, you had more consumers than the national average that wanted that cash option, that didn't mind leaving money on the table because there was something else in their life that was more important. And what I kind of want to talk to you guys about today is how QuickBuy helps you with that successful relationship generation with consumers. We all know that components of a successful relationship is honesty, respect. But one key aspect that I want to talk to you about, follow-up. You have to follow up with a QuickBuy option when a seller doesn't accept it. When they don't accept a cash option, they're not rejecting you. They're just rejecting an offer. They still want to work with you. And that's the key to you guys continuing that relationship with a seller, is that follow up when a seller doesn't accept a cash option. So we're going to go into a little bit of that today, but I wanted to give you guys a little bit of information about how your sellers really elected this kind of option last year above so many other markets out there, because it really was a solution for some sort of issue in their life. So for any of you guys, you already know a little bit about QuickBuy. Just to give you guys a little more heads up on everything, how is QuickBuy different? You guys have a great reputation as market leaders, but by offering these other creative solutions, this is going to help remain and contain that you are market leaders in the area. We want you guys to generate more of your own leads, essentially walking into a listing presentation with a multitude of options for a seller, traditional listing, with a market leader in their area, but creative solutions to overcome obstacles that seller may have, as well as talking to them about the solutions you have, so that opens up the line of communication with them and you. Closing more listings. These options differentiate you from your competitors out there by having more options for the sellers. That allows you to close more listings because all of those options involve you listing the home. So what I want to talk to you guys now about, why did home sales select QuickBuy over all the other iBuy solutions out there? Why did management feel that this was the right option for you guys to have? Reputation. This is designed and built for agents by agents. Everyone in my company has a real estate background, so we understand very clearly what you guys go through all the time. Visibility. Branding is everything with regards to real estate. And with QuickBuy, it is always about your branding. Another aspect why management felt this was the right program for you. Your yard sign is always the sign that is in the yard. It will always remain that way, unchanged with QuickBuy. Prospecting. Anyone that you bring to the table is your listing and stays with you, because all of your listings and your leads, that helps you produce all the revenue you're hoping to gain in the future. And let me just touch on revenue again. Your commission. With this, your full commission as agreed to with your brokerage remains the same, because QuickBuy does not take a portion of that. These are the key components why management felt QuickBuy was the right iBuy program for you guys to have for the consumers that you work with. And no matter how impressive any of you are at a listing presentation, and I don't want to say this in a bad way, but if you don't have a cash solution that you mentioned to a seller while you're talking to them about why you are the right agent, the right brokerage to list their home, the minute You leave that listing appointment, no matter how impressed the seller is with you, they're going to research an iBuy option after that appointment if you don't offer one for them. It's their curiosity. It's the sole reason, what is my home value? I want something right now. We're almost in, a generation, a country of we want something right away. So part of it is that curiosity. Part of it is that I need something right now. So when you offer this kind of option to a seller, almost 80% of sellers want to know their iBuy value. You are satisfying their curiosity, but more importantly, you are preventing them from talking to your competitors, from bringing another agent into the conversation to where you may potentially lose that listing. 90% of consumers still prefer to list with an agent. So when you mention this kind of option to a seller, it's about satisfying their curiosity, but solidifying that relationship that you're hoping to develop with that consumer by listing their home. We just want you guys to be able to do this and mention it to a consumer first so that they don't go out there and start talking to your competitors. Now, we're going to go over what these solutions look like. After each brief explanation of the solutions, I am going to go through a slide of talking points. Easy, simple ways that you can think about how to introduce this to a consumer out there. I am going to pause in between each of those just in case you'd like to take a screenshot of those conversation starters. But Jen Jones in your training and development does have a copy of this PowerPoint. So if you aren't able to do that, if you're already on your phone and you can't take a screenshot photo, don't worry about it. You can contact her for any questions you have about this presentation. So any of you guys that are familiar with what an iBuy solution looks like, if you're familiar with QuickBuy, this is the program that most of your consumers like, that most of anyone out there that's looking for a cash solution is interested in. So an immediate offer allows your seller to receive a no obligation, fair cash offer from a secure investor. Lots of benefits go along with a cash option. Number one being, if the seller needs a fast close, we can close in as few as 14 business days, assuming everything is smooth and clear with title. Now, a lot of sellers do really like having the option of a cash option because it allows them a lot of security, it removes basically all uncertainty in the transaction. But some sellers don't want a fast closing. They like the cash option. How do we do that? I don't want a fast closing. So with the QuickBuy immediate offer, we can accommodate a closing up to 60 days after the seller accepts the offer if they need more time to finalize everything going on after that. Now, you guys know the benefits with this kind of option for a seller, not getting the home ready for the market, not making sure that everyone's out doing showings, open houses, all of that prep that you have to do before the market, but also while you're on the market to ensure the home is always ready for buyers and their agents. So, and other things that I kind of want to make you guys aware of, the benefits of this, they're not just benefits for the seller, they're benefits for you too. So when you give a seller a cash option, it makes their sale very smooth. It makes them a strong buyer in their next purchase. And we all know almost every seller out there is looking at a purchase at the same time. So you've given that seller a transaction that makes sense to them for their sale. You're working with QuickBuy when we purchase the home, and that original seller, they are a strong buyer. Make sure you work with them on their purchase so that you can have two transactions, not just for yourself, not just for the revenue that you are hoping to generate, but so that that consumer has two amazing experiences that their home sale agent brought them. Think about almost all of our future listings and leads come from referrals. Don't forget to contact your clients after a smooth transaction because you want those referrals from them. They're going to tell everyone they know about the amazing opportunity that their home sale agent was able to bring them. Now, talking points. How do you bring up this kind of information in a conversation with a consumer that you're hoping to list their home for? How can you bring this up to see if one of these options pique interest to them? So with QuickBuy immediate offer, it's just as simple as saying, with all the uncertainty in the real estate market, let's discuss the benefits you can get from an immediate cash offer. Now, Dawn Fink in your marketing has produced some pieces for you to use on listing presentations One thing I also don't want you guys to forget, when you host an open house, either for your listing, host an open house for a fellow agent. You're going to have buyers walk in the door that may not have listed their home yet, that may not have signed a listing agreement with another agent. Make sure you have some pieces for open houses as well too. Do not leave a single stone unturned to where you can mention this kind of option to a consumer out there. Other options to introduce this to sellers out there, it's as simple as, you know what, a cash offer for your home allows you to close on your sale in 14 business days and helps make you a stronger buyer in your next purchase. Here's how it works. And then you go into some of the benefits after that. Closing with makes you a stronger buyer on your next purchase because you know that your sellers are also thinking about their purchase. So you are telling them, how can I make your sale easy? How can I make your purchase strong? I am your home sale agent. I am the only one who can do that for you. It's that strong close, talking about the benefits after you mention a talking point with them to solidify not just their interest in this kind of option, but to solidify your role in being their listing agent. Now let's move on to QuickBuy Lock. So this is the program, any of you that know a little bit about QuickBuy, that is list with assurance. So it allows the seller to review the cash option, not take it, but lock it in as their backup option, their just in case option. It gives them 100% certainty that their home will sell. So there is a fee for the seller to lock the cash offer in as a backup. And essentially that fee covers us setting the funds aside in a separate account on the off chance that the seller wants to take the cash option. They lock it in before they list with you, and that cash option is locked in for up to 150 days as their backup just in case option. The cost for your seller to do that is going to be 1% of their contract price. Now that is not an upfront fee. It is a fee that is paid off of their sale proceeds. And it gives some sellers out there the assurance, the confidence to list with you and to list sooner because they have a backup option just in case, but they're also able to market the home with you and potentially get that higher net on a traditional sale because we all know that an owner occupant is going to offer a higher percentage of market value than any cash buyer is going to offer. This is an amazing opportunity to get a home listed this spring for a seller that's uncertain, to have a cash option as a backup for that seller that maybe isn't sure if their home is going to sell, or maybe isn't certain what's going to happen with buyers out there and with the mortgage rates. So some easy talking points as to how to introduce this to a seller out there. I can request a cash offer for you now, and we can list your home for sale when you lock that cash offer in. Either way, you'll be absolutely certain of a sale. Did you know that we can list your home while you have a backup offer locked in? Let me explain how this puts you in a better negotiating position for your next purchase. Again, that very strong close, letting the seller know it's not just about their sale, but ensuring that their purchase, that hopefully you're working with them as well too, is the strongest purchase. They have the strongest ability to make that happen. And this is going to touch on a number of things that's going on in the market right now. I know the market is very uncertain. Good news is we can list your home and before that obtain a backup cash offer, giving you the certainty of sale and 150 days to try and sell your home for more money to a traditional buyer. And this is really, these different types of conversation starters will pique the seller's interest, but it may also bring about some points in the conversation to where they tell you about the obstacles they have, to where they thought traditional listing was their only option, how appreciative they are that you have different options for them to overcome the obstacles that they may have. So QuickBuy Leaseback, this is the other amazing option that you are able to offer sellers out there. When QuickBuy purchases a home, we can extend a bit of flexibility to that seller. We close on the sale with them. They have their sale proceeds out so they can be that strong buyer in that next purchase, but they have flexibility with the amount of time they want to stay in the home so they can make that next purchase as smooth and as stress-free as possible. Short-term options, long-term options, we go all the way up to 500 days. Typically, a lot of sellers will end up electing anywhere under 90 days so that they can make that next purchase as smooth as possible. The cost that this would be to a seller is 1% of their contract price per month, but then calculated per diem for sellers that don't need a full month of lease back. Very compelling number here for home sale sellers that elected QuickBuy in 2022. The ones that took the QuickBuy immediate offer, 50% of those sellers also elected QuickBuy leaseback. It wasn't just one option in home sale that sold them on the options. It was two options that offered the most convenient option for them to sell their home, but also move out. So when you're mentioning these options to a seller out there, don't forget to mention all of them, because it really is more than one option that sealed the deal with the seller out there electing something that made more sense to them than traditional sale. Now, let's talk about talking points and how you can mention this kind of option to a seller. And it really is very simple. You know, something you may not know, with QuickBuy immediate offer, you can get the proceeds from selling your home and have the flexibility to stay while you wait for the right home to purchase with me. Don't forget to say that. Wait for the right home to purchase with me, your trusted agent. You're working with them on the sale. You're orchestrating this option that makes things simpler and more stress-free in their life, and you're working with them on your purchase. Don't forget that. They're purchasing almost at the same time that they're selling as well too. If you're looking at homes that need updating and you don't want to move in while the work is being done, QuickBuy has an option that lets you stay in your current home after you sell it while you have your sale proceeds out. Thinking about the convenience that you are offering a seller out there, that really is the key to establishing that relationship with your seller. Now, I just want to point out very quickly the types of homes that we buy, but also how you guys pre-qualify your sellers before your listing appointment. So we are not the distress property program. We are not the program that buys homes that needs months upon months of repair, simply because the percentage of offers that we offer to sellers out there are reflective of homes that are in average condition. We want you to be able to get these homes on the market in under three plus weeks, somewhere around there. The homes out there that need months upon months of repair, that's typically a different type of iBuyer that's looking for those. You could say they're the typical we buy ugly homes buyer out there. And the reason they're looking for those kind of homes is because they make discounted offers that are typically 65 to 70 cents on the dollar. QuickBuy has higher offers than that. So those are not the types of homes that we're looking at. And when you think about offering this to a seller, don't think about the home that would work for the program. Think about, is this seller's situation warrant different creative options to capture that listing? Think about the situation, not the home. Now, types of homes that qualify, I want to kind of go over that with you guys. You do all of this on the QuickBuy app before you go to your listing presentation so that you know if you can offer these additional options to a seller. Most of the homes are going to qualify. If it is a conforming property in an active marketplace, it's likely going to qualify for QuickBuy options. So it's similar to a number of homes, as well as there are active closed comps that are similar to the subject in order to establish that correct underwriting value. There's no ceiling on the value that's allowed in the program. It just needs to conform to the area, but there is a floor. So every home does have to be valued over $100,000 in current market condition in order to qualify. Now, I want you guys to think of QuickBuy as your proactive solution to get in and talk to more sellers, to start that relationship with a seller that's interested in creative solutions. So if you have a home that's already listed, if a home is listed with another brokerage, or if it has been listed in one of those options in the last 6 months or listed FSBO, it's not going to qualify for QuickBuy options until it's been off the market for 6 months. At that point, any sort of market perception on value, any sort of buyer blight as to why the home didn't sell has been removed, and it's going to be a home that is easy for you to list and sell for us. So let's talk about the property types that qualify. The property types that qualify: single-family homes, condos and townhomes also qualify as long as those HOAs allow corporate ownership. So the property types that don't qualify, these are the ones that if you input this kind of information on the app before your listing presentation, it will not qualify. So multifamily, anything that is 2 unit and above. land, a commercial property, as well as anything that would be designated mobile or manufactured, those property types will not qualify for QuickBuy options. And again, all of that is in the QuickBuy app that you are going to go on before your listing presentation, answer about 10 questions to see if you have the option to offer these creative solutions to your sellers. And I'm going to go through the steps. It's very simple with what you guys already do, as well as it's going to incorporate very easily with what your listing presentation already is. You pre-qualify the seller, and now you can tell them that you have an immediate offer option for them. You get to generate it for them. You get to take it back out, deliver it to them, and they get to decide which one of those sale options is the best option for them. Now, this is where you want to bring some of those marketing materials that Dawn has produced for you, not just talking points for when you go out and talk to a seller, but to leave with them with all the rest of your listing presentation materials, because we all know at some times when we go on listing presentations, sellers aren't always ready to sign that day. Sometimes they have to think about stuff. Sometimes they're getting ready. They want to do a few things before they list their home. It's key that you leave that there, because if they want to investigate that option later on, they've got to contact you back to do it. These are things for them to look at, to mull over, to then contact you back later on if they want to do it. If you have a seller that's ready to sign their listing agreement that day that doesn't want to research the options, you know what? That's okay. Get your listing agreement signed. You have used QuickBuy successfully. You've put it out there. It's going to bring you consumers in the future that talk to that seller that you're working with that want to hear about the options that you have. Now, there's no obligation for a seller to take the options, and there's also no fee for them to review the QuickBuy options. So you are going to have a ton of sellers that say, absolutely, I want to see what these options look like. What do I do? And this is when you step in and say, you know what, you don't do anything. I do all of it for you. I get the options for you. And what you do on the app is you go further on the app, you take current property photos while you're in the home. And I can't stress enough, photos that you take, not MLS photos and not photos from the seller, because as a real estate professional, we know that you are going to take photos of all areas of the home so that our analysts can see all of the finishes and get to the heart of the most accurate likely sales price of the home. You input the photos on the app a couple different ways. We have a video for it. You're going to get a link to after today. I'll send that to you in case you have questions. We need a few other pieces of information on the app, key information about the market, about the home. One key question that you guys are going to see, what would be the commission if you listed the home traditionally? And that's very important. That's both sides, both the list side and the sell side. Because if we purchase the home, we need to know what's going to be on the listing agreement between us, you, and home sale. You input that information on the app. You're going to get a confirmation email very soon after that, confirming we've received your information, stating that we're reviewing the market and that we may contact you for questions, but we may not. And if you don't get a call from us in about 1 to 2 business days, you are going to get contract paperwork, QuickBuy contract, QuickBuy lock listing addendum, and a program comparison that then you can go out, deliver to a seller in person. We stress that in person really is the best because you want to have that second opportunity to secure the listing if you weren't able to secure it on that first visit. In person, everything is conveyed in a much more pleasing manner. And those mannerisms, when you're talking about things with the seller, they come out more so than they would on the phone. When you get all this paperwork, it's going to come from my coworker, Paula. She has been in real estate for 4 decades. She was a broker. She is there to answer any questions that you have, any questions that you anticipate the seller may have. She's going to call you, talk to her, answer any questions that you have, but also help you feel confident delivering this kind of option to a seller. Now, one thing that you may want to talk to a seller about beforehand that Paula is also happy to talk to you about when you get the offer is, how does a cash option compare to a traditional offer? The very simple way to state it to a seller is, you know what, you're always going to have costs on a transaction. Your net off of a traditional, when we list on the open marketplace, what does that look like with a cash option? So the difference, the net, not gross, the net that a seller is leaving on the table for a cash option is approximately 5 to 7% difference off of their traditional sale net. So something to keep in mind, that is what a seller is leaving on the table for a fast closing, for a secure closing, for a closing they can count on, for convenience in either their sale and or their next purchase. Some sellers see what this cost of convenience really does for them. You may mention this at a listing presentation and a seller says, I can't leave an additional 5% on the table. Move on, list their home. Cash option is not right for them, but this is the simplest way to mention it to a seller to see if they're interested and seeing what that cash option looks like for them. Now, you've gotten the offer, you talked to Paula, you scheduled an appointment with the seller, you're going out, you're delivering the option to them. What the seller is going to do now is decide their need versus the cost of convenience and what that looks like for them. I just want to stress again here for you guys, if they decline the quick buy options, they are not declining you. They are declining an option that doesn't make sense to them. You brought them this option. You still make sense in the transaction. List and sell their home and don't stop corresponding with them until you have secured the listing with them. Now, a couple things that I'd like to kind of bring up to you guys, the difference between a traditional buyer, the difference between quick buy, in case the seller kind of asks, well, why would I want to look at a cash option? What does that mean for me? Now, we all know that a traditional buyer is going to offer a higher percentage of value for any seller out there. Quick buy as a cash option is going to have a discounted percentage of value. Both of those different solutions offer issues with them. So with traditional buyer, with that higher percentage of value, there's a number of things that can happen that may reduce that may cancel the transaction overall. That could be the risk of the sale actually going through to close. You got a closing timeline of anywhere from 45 to 60 days, even if you go under contract the first day you're listed. Most traditional buyers will always have an inspection and appraisal contingency. Financing is typical. And they may have a sale contingency, repair requests, seller concessions, and there's always that potential that the contract may cancel. So even with that discounted percentage of value with quick buy, it's a certain sale for a seller that doesn't have a financing contingency, doesn't have an appraisal contingency. It's a cash purchase. It will have an inspection that's similar to a typical sale, but there is no need for the seller to complete repairs. And with the quick buy and leaseback option, the seller has the ability to stay after the close and have more flexibility. So when you're talking to a seller about it, you have to weigh with them and let them decide if that higher percentage of value is more important to them, or if the benefits of that discounted percentage of value make the difference for them selling their home. Now, I want to go on to quick buy marketing with you guys, just to talk to you guys a little bit about having the solutions. Is it enough? Marketing them is the key, not just to closing the deal with that seller, but to getting to work with more sellers when the word spreads that you have these options. We're going to talk about market, making sure that your sellers know you offer these solutions. 2, capture, understanding that consultative approach. And 3, follow up. Doing the follow-up if the seller is early in the decision-making process and not giving up on that follow-up until you have secured the listing. Now, anyone out there, okay, this is a very simple thing to say. Raise your hand if you're willing to spend a little money to make a lot. I want to show you guys what that kind of looks like, but also what the key like that is doing. So this is what some competitors out there do to market to your consumers. There's different ads that are on TV, ads on streaming TV channels. Realtor.com is even getting into the mix, offering this kind of option too. Why are these companies doing this? Why are they advertising this kind of option to a consumer? They're advertising it because over 30% of realtors reported closing at least one transaction a year as a result of their use of social media marketing. So I wanted to bring in social media marketing to you guys because this is the easiest thing that you guys can do with your sphere of influence, and you don't even have to pay to do social media advertising. But when you do pay, you can reach so many more consumers to be able to get that one transaction a year, that minimum one transaction a year, to be able to produce extra revenue for yourself. So one post and one sale. Let's look like what this means to you guys. $500 cost. Posting on Facebook or Instagram for a 30-day period, targeting 2 zip codes. Be sure to set up that post so that it sends a seller back to your personal website. Just take it on average what that looks like on a $200,000 home. Looking at a typical split for your area, 3-3 split commission, $6,000 on your side, and a typical agent broker split of 80-20 being $4,800. After your initial investment of $500, you were able to net $4,300 from only 1 month of social media advertising. Imagine if you did that every month, and imagine if you did it on both platforms, Facebook and Instagram. Thinking about the revenue this generates for you. And the sellers don't have to accept the quick buy option. It's all about you being able to work with them no matter what option you offer them. A lot of sellers just want to know what their options are. They're interested in them and they don't ultimately take it. But you are in that conversation with the seller. You have the ability to establish and keep that relationship and secure the listing with that seller. Now, what I want to kind of talk to you guys about now is a little bit about your market and some new options in order to market out there to get to work with more sellers. So there's a number of ways you can do this. These are a couple different options that have worked for different agents in different markets that have used QuickBuy. So one, and I'm going to go over the specifics of these in just a couple slides. We had a Midwest agent that used a 4-week social media post rotating message. With that, she targeted 2 zip codes and she was able to close 10 sellers that elected not to take the option but listed with her, as well as 2 quick buy sales. And that resulted in $3+ million of revenue that she generated. So $3 million in sales. 3% of that for a lot of agents would likely be an entire year of revenue. With a Southwest agent, on her very first quick buy postcard that she sent out, her very first quick buy postcard campaign, she was able to work with a seller that looked at the option, didn't take it, but she listed that seller's home. She also worked with that seller on their purchase. And on the sale that she listed for that seller, it was a $2.5 million home. Now, that may not happen on everyone's first postcard campaign, but if you don't start marketing and putting it out there, you're never going to have the opportunity to work with new clients. Another option to be able to do this kind of marketing is with AdWorks or AdWords that can boost you on social media. And on average, those companies will generate 4 more views to take you back to your personal page to work with those consumers. Now, let's briefly chat about the ideas to generate new leads. And these are likely ideas that you guys have already had. You already use this to be able to source new clients to work with. But think about this with QuickBuy as well, too, because this really is the key to expanding your sphere of influence, expanding the great referrals you're going to have in the future, continuing to generate more and more revenue and more sellers for you to work with. Expired listings, reaching out to potential sellers on the fence, maybe sellers you spoke to months ago and they never listed their home. Now you've got this option, if you hadn't mentioned it to them, to where you can tell them about a cash option that may be appealing to them this spring with everything that's going on in real estate. Talk to your managing broker about maybe using one of the rooms in your offices to do a a seller informational seminar, things like that. Farming new territories with postcards, door-to-door correspondence, any sort of marketing that you guys feel may be key to getting in and talking to more sellers out there. Now, let's go back to that Midwest agent with that 4-week social media campaign that she did. She used 4 different messages. And I would stress, if you guys end up doing something like this on social media, find the message on either your home sale portal or on the QuickBuy portal. You guys are going to see that later on. Pick the message that resonates the most with your clients. Pick one message, stick with it, and put it on auto repeat, because then the more and more those consumers see that message, they're not going to think about the option that's there. They're going to think about you and the option that you were able to give to them. 2 zip codes she was able to target. This was a new area she was farming, 70,000 in population. That revenue that she produced from this was some agents' entire year revenue. Now, let's move on to capture with regards to marketing. Once you reach new sellers, the key to capture is that initial relationship you work to establish with that seller and the options that you get to offer to them that sets you apart from the pack. You capture more listings with more options. Your sellers get to decide which one of those options is the best for them. So after you generate more ideas for your leads, it's so important to know how to market to those leads. We're going to go over the main components of a successful marketing program that you get to create in order to generate more revenue. Messaging is important to attract the consumer that is interested in your options. And then choosing the print or digital materials that speak to your sphere of influence is key to that capture. Reaching out to those new sellers outside of your sphere of influence will ensure you continue to source more leads all the time. So messaging, let's take a look at that. We've done a lot of research the past few years. The top 2 messaging items that speak the most to consumers interested in these options is number 1, immediate cash offer, and number 2, sell with certainty. These are messages that you guys already have in your quick buy materials that you can use to advertise the sellers out there. Now, materials that you guys have in order to deliver this message out there to your consumers. You guys have some pieces in home sale. We have some pieces as well too. I want to show you guys the marketing portal so that you can kind of see a few things as to how that looks like. So I'm going to go to a different screen right here. I want to show you a couple different things on the QuickBuy agent marketing support site. We have a lot of things. We have a whole area that's already ready in the BHHS signature color that you guys get to use. Now, Dawn has some pieces already ready for you that may be easier for you to use if you aren't as tech savvy as some other people out there. But the other things I kind of want to show you guys, we have a 4-email drip campaign that you get to use that you can copy and paste to start getting the information out there to either your sphere of influence, or if you want to talk to new consumers, to tell them that you have these kind of options. You don't even have to compose it. All you have to do is copy and paste, do a different email every week, do a different email every month. If you only want to send out an email once a month, you have 4 emails here with different messages to grab the attention of consumers out there that you hope to work with. I'm going to send you a link to this portal after the class, so don't feel like you can't get the link down right now. Don't worry, you're going to get it. Now, give me 1 second because I've got to get my other screen back up here so we can go through stuff. One other thing too, so next level, any of you that have your own personal site that want to be able to track consumers to your site, but want to have a number of pieces of information out there once the consumers get to your site. This is what one of our partners did, an agent. She pulled some of the social media information that we had. She pulled an actual image. This is something that we already created. She just posted this on her site. She just had her web developer retool this a little bit so that she had QuickBuy full and center on her site to draw more consumers in. Now, I want to talk to you guys a little bit. If you don't have the resources to do that, if you don't have the time to do that, here are some simple ways, some free ways to get the information out that you have these options. So number 1, if you already been through one of the QuickBuy certification sessions, you got a certification badge. I'm going to send those out today as well too. That's a really easy, free way for you to advertise these options. You can do that email announcement or press release. We have an agent press release on our agent marketing resources too. You guys will see that when you get the link later on. Use those QuickBuy flyers in your presentation. Call your sphere of influence door to door with a new sphere of influence that you're trying to work with. That brochure at open houses, like I talked about earlier, as well as any social media posts that you want to use, whether it be the pieces that you guys have in the brokerage or the pieces that we have on our site. And one thing I want to tell you guys about follow-up, that key third component of marketing, secure the lead. You were able to present the options to a seller and validate why you are still the market leader. Many sellers are simply not ready to take the final step to list their home right away. Follow-up is just as important as the delivery, so that you can be sure you secure the listing with the sellers that are on the fence. Why are we wanting to follow up with sellers? Why is that so important? I'm going to tell you that 75% of homeowners planned on using the same agent that purchased the home with them when they sell their home. But nevertheless, a ton of them don't, because you haven't stayed in touch with them. I can honestly say that marketing works, but if you don't follow up with your clients, you won't reap the benefits of that marketing. Staying in touch with your sellers, that ensures that you will win their business in the future. Your competitors know that. They fiercely market and stay in touch with consumers that get cash options because they understand that doing that is the key to solidifying that relationship with the seller. Why you want to market quick buy options? Visibility. Consumers remember an ad after they see it 7 times. Just make sure that it is your ad they see. Make sure it's your email with the options. Make sure it's whatever way you stay in correspondence with them to remind them that you got them these options. Having a differentiator, that is the key. Branding is deliberate differentiation. Your additional solutions equals you working with more sellers. Innovation. Market leaders stay current with consumer trends. That's why you guys have this option, because management wanted you to remain the market leader, remain innovative with the solutions that consumers telling us that they want. Solutions. Sellers will call you when they know you have more solutions for them. And that is the key. That is why you want to market quick buy options. It's all about illustrating to sellers that you are the market leader because you have these options, because you're confident delivering them, because you want them to have creative solutions no matter which option they think is best to sell their home. Now, just a couple few things that I want to show you guys just to kind of wrap up. These are the QuickBuy certified agent badges. I'm going to send those to you later on. It's very easy to put this underneath your BHHS email signature in your email to show sellers that you have different options out there. One sentence that may help you kind of tie all that in, you put underneath the QuickBuy certified agent badge, open-ended sentence that gets sellers thinking, ask me about other options to sell your home. Very, very simple, very open-ended. It brings sellers back to you to ask you about those questions. What does that mean? But it gets your foot in the door to tell them also why you are the right agent to list and sell their home. Now, any of you that have not downloaded the QuickBuy app, I have the QR codes on the screen. Feel free to scan it and download it. I'm going to send that in an email as well too, so that you have the ability to do that after the session. When you register on the app, it's going to ask you for your brokerage name, your name, 2 key important pieces of information, your email and your phone number that you use for real estate, because that's what we're going to have on our system. And when we generate the offer to get back to you for your seller, we've got to have the right email. We've got to have the right phone number to call and ask you questions. After you register, you get a 6-digit code. It's going to go straight to the email that you registered on. If you don't see it in your inbox within a couple minutes, it went to the spam or junk folder. Go in there, get the 6-digit code, fully register on the app, and then you are ready to pre-qualify all of your sellers for future listing appointments. So I have one quick testimonial from one of our agents in Indiana that successfully used 2 of the options to a seller. And again, it was multiple options for this seller and so many other sellers that allowed not just a convenient sale, but a convenient new purchase as well too.
Hey, I'm Kerry B., a real estate agent here in Indiana. And guys, it is true. QuickBuy really is a lead generator tool. My QuickBuy so happened just like they talk about in the trainings. I marketed my immediate offer solutions, and a couple contacted me because they needed a quick sale on their current home so they could buy their dream home. More specifically, they had already found a custom home that they wanted to build, and the builder was the one who told them they needed to find either a cash buyer or someone who could buy their home fast so they could get the equity from the home to help with the down payment on their new custom built home. The sellers contacted me, I contacted QuickBuy, and not only did they sell to QuickBuy, but did not have to do it. Hey, I'm Kerry B, a real estate agent here in Indiana. And guys, it is true. QuickBuy really is a lead generator tool. My QuickBuy so happened, just like they talk about in the trainings. I marketed my immediate offer solutions, and a couple contacted me because they needed a quick sale on their current home so they could buy their dream home. More specifically, they had already found a custom home that they wanted to build, and the builder was the one who told them they needed to find either a cash buyer or someone who could buy their home fast so they could get the equity from their home to help put the down payment on their new custom built home. The sellers contacted me, I contacted QuickBuy, and not only did they sell to QuickBuy, but did not have to do it.
I'm having a problem with Carrie's feed. What he's going to say at the end of this is basically that the lease back essentially assisted not just with them having the convenience with a builder that kept changing their delivery dates, but it gave them the peace of mind because they were able to close on the sale to have their sale proceeds out, but have that flexibility on their move so that they could do it at their leisure. So just to kind of wrap up with you guys, staying relevant, generating your own leads, closing more listings. This is exactly what Home Sale wanted you guys to have so that you can be as competitive as possible in the marketplace, but also have that differentiating edge above all of your competitors to really continue to help you guys stand out as that market leader in your area. So QuickBuy is your expertise as an agent, but also those convenient, immediate solutions that differentiate you from the competitors in your marketplace. Now I'm going to stop share, and I think we may have a question or two in the chat, but if you didn't put a question in the chat and you still have it, feel free to unmute yourself and we'll go over them. So I did have one question, and that is, this is someone's second day with QuickBuy. Who is making the QuickBuy offer and who is the buyer? So great question. So QuickBuy is making the offer. We have analysts in-house that are actually looking at closed sale comps, listed comps, under contract comps that closely relate to each home that you submit. They're looking at the neighborhood that you submit the home in. They're looking at the photos of that subject property to see what comps relate to it. Our analysts are producing an offer that goes straight to you that you can then schedule an appointment with the seller to deliver to them and let them decide if those options make sense to them. The buyer is QuickBuy and the investors. The good news about all of this is you deliver this offer to the seller, they don't elect to take it, you generate and get the listing for them. Any correspondence with QuickBuy stops at that point. We cannot solicit your clients. That relationship that they have with you, that is solid. That is part of our agreement with the brokerage. So you know that when you get this kind of option for a seller, it's an option that has no solicitation to them in the future. That's key too, because a lot of sellers want to look at this option with a competitor, but they keep getting solicited from your competitors again and again after that. We will not do that. Your relationship with them is secure. And that was a great question. A lot of times you guys will have questions, or maybe your seller would have a question as to who's getting the offer from. And one thing that you could say as well too, our relationship with QuickBuy and your brokerage started last year. However, we have worked with Home Sale for a very long time as a business-to-business partner. So we have a long-standing relationship already with your brokerage, and that is part of the reason that the brokerage decided that QuickBuy was right for you guys. Looks like I have another question in the chat here. Would a seller have to pay a QuickBuy lock fee even if their house is not sold in 150 days? So let me explain the two different scenarios that may happen with QuickBuy lock. So the seller elects to lock the offer in before they list with you. You list the home traditionally, and the home sells to a traditional buyer while it's listed on MLS. The 1% fee is still going to be paid off of that seller's proceeds. It's going to be a line item on their HUD. So if you were assessing 6% commission to list and sell that seller's home traditionally, it's going to look like 7% on their HUD statement. Let's say the seller elects to lock the offer in ahead of time. They list with you. And at some point during the listing, they decide, you know what, Jennifer, the home's been listed for 100 days. That buyer pool dissipated like we thought it would. The mortgage rates didn't go down. We haven't found a buyer yet for my home. Is that cash option still available to me? Yes, it is. We're within the 150 days. You can take that cash option and it's going to have all of the fees detailed in it that you received on day one. Now that 1% fee, that's going to be an additional fee that you have to pay seller for that ability to keep that cash offer open as a backup that you decided to take. One thing that I want you guys to know about that, you were able to keep a transaction for that seller. You were able to make a sale happen. You're going to be working with QuickBuy to list the home when we purchase it. You won't be getting commission on that transaction, but you made a sale happen for a seller. You were able to keep that transaction. Hopefully you're working with them on their purchase. You saved the day for the seller that couldn't sell traditionally by helping them lock that offer in ahead of time. Now, I want to see if I answered everything else correctly. So if the home isn't sold in 150 days, it's going to detail in the paperwork that you get the day that that lock option expires. So if the seller doesn't sell their home by day 150 and they don't elect to take the cash option, it is off the table. But there is paperwork that will detail the last day they could accept that cash option if they lock it in. So there's going to be paperwork that details everything very clearly, not just the fees, but also dates that they would have to do things by as well too. Let's see, I got a couple more questions in here. What if a seller backs out last minute? Do they pay a fee? So if the seller elects to take the cash option, let's say something happens with their family, something happens with them, and they say, you know what, Jennifer, we can't do this cash sale anymore. Something happened in my life and I really have to attend to it. They can cancel the transaction just like any other purchase transaction out there. The only fee that would be due would be a $7.95 program fee. That's detailed in the contract. We would ask that of the seller, but let's say they don't pay that to us. We're not going to pursue that fee because we want to ensure that you have a good potential of a future relationship with that seller. That is a fee then that QuickBuy eats, something to keep in mind. And part of the reason your brokerage felt so strongly about the relationship we have with you. See, I think I have one more question. So if a person chooses to stay the 60 days before settlement, is there a fee? So just like if a seller owned a home that they listed traditionally with you and it went under contract, they're still paying their mortgage, their carrying costs, their insurance, their taxes, all of that time before they proceed to closing. We don't own the home until we close on the sale. There is no fee. They're just going to be paying whatever their typical cost would be if they listed the home with you and were under contract but not closed. So imagine mortgage, taxes, insurance, all of that. Great question. Now, what other questions do you guys have? Anyone want to unmute yourself and ask a question that you didn't see one of your fellow agents ask? Nope. I don't see any other questions, and oh, wait.
Yeah, could you please remind what was the fee for lease back?
So for a lease back, it's going to be 1% of the purchase price per month. Okay. But that can be done per diem for a seller that doesn't need a full lease back. Now let's take, for example, a home that's valued at $200,000. It would be $2,000 a month for a lease back. Now that is definitely above typical market rents in the area. Let's look at the conveniences that offers a seller that elects it. So they don't have to move twice. They're not paying movers twice. They're not having the inconvenience of looking for short-term storage, short-term housing, as well as a potential different commute to work and school that they may have while they're figuring out their next purchase with you. One other big key component of that, let's say your seller before closing elects 60 days of lease back from QuickBuy. The day after closing, they find their dream home with you, they go under contract, and they get to close and move in 30 days. The day that you get the keys from them, the day that you confirm with QuickBuy that the home is vacant, broom swept, and everything is in the condition that we valued it in, we refund them the difference of the lease back they did not use. I would urge you to find any short-term leaser out there that would give that kind of option to a seller. And again, to reinforce, 50% of the home sale quick buy sellers last year that elected the immediate offer also elected lease back. They didn't mind paying for that convenience because it really gave them the peace of mind and let them focus on their purchase with their home sale agent. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And I think I may have one more question here. So at what point do we get the actual listing agreement from Moving Station once they have purchased the property and made the improvements? So about 2 weeks before closing, so 2 weeks before we close on the purchase of the home from that seller, home sale is going to get a listing agreement and paperwork so they can start getting things in place to get the home ready with us, but also get things in place so that when you have the home listed, it's always welcome and ready for buyers. So imagine they're getting in place utilities, lawn service, snow removal if it's that time of year, pool service started if it's that time of year. They're getting all these things in place so that the home is always ready for buyers. And then when we are ready to list the home, when things are done, they're going to get a new listing agreement should we have done some items to the home that would increase the sales price of it. And one thing that I kind of want to tell you guys about, we value the home. We are hoping to sell the home for that price. But if we do some improvements in between purchase and listing with you that would increase the value of the home, your commission is going to be based off of that final improved sales price of the home. Very compelling too, because I know a lot of sellers right now don't want to do improvements to the home. They just want to put it on the market. But QuickBuy is willing to do some things for homes depending upon how that home relates to the community. Another great question.
I know you already went through this, but how long does it take before you get an answer from QuickBuy?
So when you submit everything on the QuickBuy app, you're going to get a confirmation email within usually about a half an hour, just confirming some of the details you submitted. And then if we don't contact you to ask questions about those details, typically in about 2 business days, you're going to get contract paperwork back to you. And let me stress again, it doesn't go to the seller, it goes to you, the agent, because we want you to have that second opportunity if you haven't secured the listing to secure it. That opportunity to go out and deliver that option to the seller in person, talk to them, remind them that you were the agent that got them this opportunity. So, and imagine 2 business days, we don't have full staff on the weekend. So if you submit something late on a Friday afternoon, you're likely not going to get anything over the weekend. So just something to kind of keep in mind with sellers and listing appointments that you have. Great questions, you guys.
So if it takes longer than those 2 days, is there something going on?
If it takes longer than 2 days, it could be that we have a ton of submissions, a lot of other agents that have submitted things for interested sellers. It could be that it's a holiday weekend as well too, so there's that to incur. Typically, that would be the only things that hold things up is just an influx of submissions out there. If there's any questions we have about the market, about comps, the analysts are going to reach out to you very quickly to ask those questions. So it wouldn't be necessarily about that. It'd be more about the number of submissions and what the offers department is already currently working on.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I don't see any other questions in the chat box, and we are coming up on exactly an hour, which I feel so privileged to be able to take an hour of your time because this is the spring season. It was just the Super Bowl. You guys are all probably really, really busy getting either things on the market or getting things prepared for showings and listings. So I don't want to take up any more of your time, but you are going to get an email from me a little bit later today. Has my contact information in it. It has some great pieces in there, the stuff we talked about today and the links that you guys need. If you have issues with anything, trouble, please feel free to reach out to me. Call me, email me. I am happy to go through anything with you guys so that you feel as confident as possible presenting these kind of options to sellers. Thanks you guys so much. I appreciate your time and I wish you much success in your use with the program. Have a wonderful day, everyone.